High-profile rapper ASAP Rocky has avoided possibly spending years in prison after he was found not guilty of firing a gun at a former friend, and his reaction in court is something else. Reilly Sullivan is a lifestyle reporter here at skynews.com.au, and he's always across the latest celebrity and royal headlines. Reilly, great to see you.
Great to be back.
Let's start with what's happening in court with rapper ASAP Rocky. He's been found not guilty of shooting a former friend after an altercation in Hollywood in 2021. But this is what happened. This was the moment when he heard the words "not guilty."
Raheem Mayers, not guilty. And we, the jury, above any type of action, find the defendant, Raheem Mayers, not guilty of semi-automatic firearm in violation of penal code. Yes, sir.
Oh, you can feel the emotion, can't you? The relief. It kind of gives you goosebumps. But what's been the reaction to this verdict?
Yeah, I mean, a huge reaction from this case, Gab. Of course, the lawyer there on the left is Joe Tacopina. He's also Donald Trump's personal lawyer, very high-profile attorney, and a really dramatic case. I mean, earlier in the stages of this case, there was a plea deal. It was something like 6 months in jail. He took the risk. He took it to trial. It went to jury trial. And as you said, he was facing, up to 20 years in prison on these charges. So, of course, a huge emotional relief for ASAP Rocky. His partner, Rihanna, of course, was there in the courtroom. Very, very emotional scenes. And it was really a case that has captured the imagination because, of course, it is such a high-profile celebrity, but also because, it was quite a flimsy case. And, the District Attorney of Los Angeles made an interesting statement. He said that they respected the verdict of the jury, but they said that the whole point of this case was that no one is above the law. And I almost feel like it was the opposite. I feel like it was quite a flimsy case and it was only really being pursued perhaps because of ASAP Rocky's profile and wealth.
Right.
So very, very interesting case and, a great outcome for him. I mean, it would have been terrifying to be potentially looking down the barrel of 20 years in prison.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the royal news. Prince Andrew's official residence, Royal Lodge, is reportedly still in a shocking state and requires significant maintenance. What kind of money does Andrew need to come up with to bring the house just up to scratch?
Absolutely. I mean, Royal Lodge, as we know, is a huge money pit. It is a sprawling royal property. It's one of the largest royal residences. And of course, we know that Andrew's had financial problems now for a long time. This week, there were some really interesting numbers being floated around, really drilling down into just how much money it would take to maintain the home and the grounds. Because of course, Royal Lodge is Royal Lodge, but it's also this sort of 20, 30 acres of property, which is all the responsibility of Andrew as the tenant. So there was one figure that was thrown out this week. It was about £150,000, which is 300,000 basically Australian dollars, just on landscaping. So that isn't even touching maintenance on the house. Just to maintain the grounds, the lawns, the landscaping is about $300,000
Wow.
a year. Millions of dollars. Andrew has these new business ventures. They're supposedly bringing in some kind of income, but it seems like it's Groundhog Day. We're still sitting here talking about this property, and I don't think there's any end in sight.
Meghan Markle, she's officially confirmed she's axed her American Riviera Orchard brand idea, and she's going to launch a different lifestyle venture called As Ever. I'm not sure about this name, but let's just take a look to what she's posted on Instagram.
In 2 weeks, my show is coming out, which I'm so excited for. And also my business. Netflix came on not just as my partner in the show, but as my partner in my business. And it's called As Ever. As Ever essentially means as it's always been.
Okay, we're hearing a bit of an insight on Meghan Markle's take on why she's ditched American Riviera Orchard. What's the real story?
Look, I think Meghan Markle is a bit of a spin doctor. I think that she's her own best spin doctor. She's
Best and worst.
Best and worst, yeah, that's right. Because, she very gracefully touched on American Riviera Orchard and why she's abandoned the idea in that video. But what she didn't say is that we know in reality, part of the reason why this thing never actually got up and going was trademark issues. She never actually secured all of her trademarks with the United States Trademark Office. So that was an ongoing issue. That was the real reason why it sat for a year and she never sold anything. We never saw any products. But she's, as ever, she's moved straight along. She's announced this new brand with Netflix. And I don't know, I think that the difference with this will be, I think we will see something, something will actually eventuate from this, mostly because, as she also mentioned in that video, Netflix is a business partner. So she'll finally have access to Netflix's resources, and presumably they have the type of business where they can actually put an idea out there and create it. And I think that's really was her core issue with American Riviera, was it was all abstract, it was a concept, but she never really had anything to show for it except for a few jars of jam. So I do think that, it's a turning point. I think we will finally see something in stores.
Right.
But I mean, can you just imagine the amount of money that's been wasted over the past year? Millions of dollars poured into American Riviera Orchard. She didn't make $1 off it.
Oh, it's just been scrapped. Yeah, it's been a nightmare from the very beginning. Finally, Prince Harry was joined by none other than Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on the final day of the Invictus Games over the weekend. What was the meaning behind Trudeau's surprise appearance with Harry?
Yeah, it was a very warm appearance of Justin Trudeau and Prince Harry. They were seated together at the last day of the Games, of the Invictus Games in Vancouver, and it was, I think, mutually beneficial. I think for Harry, it really kind of validates him, it validates the event. The fact that he's meeting with world leaders, the fact that he's sitting down with Justin Trudeau is a great PR coup. And I think for Justin Trudeau, he's an outgoing Prime Minister. He is looking, towards his future and his legacy. But I think it's also to send a message, whether it's a message perhaps to Donald Trump, who is sort of an adversary to both of them, frankly, in recent weeks, or if it's just a bit of PR spin, and because it does look nice to see Prince Harry, this globally famous royal, sitting with the Prime Minister. Of course, that sends a message of validation for both of them. But it was a great event, so hats off to Harry for that. What a coup.
Reilly Sullivan, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour.
Thank you.